Thanks for staying with us. There's a lot of effort being made to make sure that the city's parks are the safest and best anywhere. And to talk to us about that today are Sergeant Rod Dobler from the city's police department and Officer Steve Camara, both assigned to the parks unit of the city's police department. Thank you for joining us today, gentlemen.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you both here.
Thank you.
We'll start with Sergeant Dobler. We were talking to you recently about reducing some crime in some other ways around the city, different things going on there. But parks is a big focus of what the police department is doing. What do you do to make sure our parks stay safe?
Well, right now we have three full-time parks officers that are dedicated to the parks. We have a zero tolerance in the parks. These are family-oriented parks. They are safe. I want the public to understand that. We want to make sure they're safe, and that's why we have the officers in the parks. And we have the cameras now, and I want Steve to talk about some of the cases we've been able to solve with these cameras in the parks. We've been able to pull up actual crimes taking place. We've been able to identify who's done it, get a warrant, and arrest these individuals. As I said, Ed, we have a zero tolerance in these parks. If you do not follow the rules, you're either going to be trespassed or you're going to be arrested. All right, we're not going to put up with any nonsense. These are family-oriented parks. They are absolutely safe out there, and that's what we're trying to achieve.
And that's so important. And I guess being a place that young people congregate a lot, it tends to cause some trouble sometimes.
Yes,
that's what we've had that in the past. You address that. You keep an eye on groups of kids gathering and what develops from that.
Absolutely. There are certain parks that we have maybe some more problems with than other ones. And we're right on top of all that. And as I said, we're monitoring any of the problems in the parks. And my officers have made quite a few arrests in the parks. I mean, because of the cameras, I mean, some of the high-profile ones was the illegal dumping out there in Oak Hammond Park where the gentleman dumped a boat. And we had that all on film, and we were able to arrest him and his girlfriend on that.
That was a real nervy thing to do. Just
wasn't that
dump
something?
That boat right in the water and leave it to sink and be somebody else's problem.
I have my own theory on why he did it, and you know, I think it has more to do with drug addiction than anything else. But that's what happens out there. But the three parks officers that I have, and we're going to get one more. These are outstanding officers. These are the best of the best. And in fact, they're going to be recognized next week at the Port St. Lucie award ceremony, the police department award ceremony that we're going to have next Wednesday.
Very
and
good.
They're going to be given a unit citation for all the hard work that they've been doing.
Well, Officer Camara,
yes, sir.
Best of the best you've just been identified as. You work with a few other officers, a few others that you go out, and you are assigned solely to the parks, correct?
Yes, we are. Officer Nags, Officer Kearns, and myself patrol 42 of the parks that we have in the city. We also have 4 facilities that we cover: the Civic Center, the Community Center, Botanical Gardens, and Minsky Gym. We're out there 7 days a week. A lot of the people that are in the parks know us by name. If they don't know us by name, they know us by sight. We're always out there. We've had, in the last quarter, 38 crime-related incidents. Of those 38, we have made 39. We have an arrest rate of 39.5%. We have 12 cases that are currently pending, which are probably going to lead to more arrests, and we have 11 other cases that are under review, and we're going to probably make some more arrests under those.
What are the most common kinds of problems you see in the parks?
Well, recently we've had an uptick in the felony lane type car burglaries, car thefts. Just like we did before, we implemented the parks units, where people are coming to the parks and they're surveillancing, watching where the individuals leave their stuff in their cars. They break into the cars and they steal stuff. Recently, we've had a couple of break-ins to the concession stands to some of the parks, but like Sergeant Dobler had mentioned, we have the video surveillance in our parks, and we've identified people, and we've made some good arrests.
Let's talk about that video surveillance. Excuse me. How does that work?
We have a couple of our parks are wired with video surveillance. The 3 parks officers and people throughout the city who are relegated to being able to observe them have access to that on their computers. Us parks officers have access to it on our laptops that are in our cars. So if an incident's occurring at one of the parks, we'll pull up the park's video, and we'll scan the area, and we can move the cameras, pan and tilt them, and find who we're looking for, and zoom right in on them.
So you could be in your patrol car somewhere in maybe McChesney Park, but you can use that computer in your car to zoom in and see what's going on in Lingate Park on the other side of town, or Sportsmore, anywhere else for that matter.
Yes, sir.
Wow, very impressive.
Yes.
And they are good high-resolution cameras, so you get a pretty good view of what's going on.
We have they're very high resolution. We also have infrared, so it works just as good at night as it does during the day.
Yeah, so you really. Do the bad guys start to know this? Do they begin to understand this and have to be...
Once we have them handcuffed in the back of the car, yes.
Find out the hard way the first time. And then that should have a discouraging effect afterward.
We would like to hope so. Well, like I said, we've had 38 incidents in the last quarter, and of those incidents, we've made 15 arrests right off the top. And we have, like I said, 11 that are still under investigation and 12 that are pending. So there's going to be more arrests. Do they tend to be the same people who go back and repeat and target the parks often? No, it's a random thing. I don't know what they would think, what people would be thinking of, but we don't have the same people come back and do repeat occurrences. They should see it on the news and figure out that it's wired, but they don't stop. So we don't stop. Right. Sergeant Dobler, this idea for the cameras, this got started back last year. There was a shooting at a park, which later turned out to be, I guess it was deemed justifiable shooting. Right. So that shooting in itself was not a crime, according to the State Attorney's Office. Right. But that's kind of what got the attention drawn to this. Yes, that took place at Sportsman's Park, and of course that was based on the State Attorney's decision. With all the investigation that we provided the State Attorney on that, but that was the instigating event, I think, that put the cameras in the parks, and we've been able to utilize them ever since. And as I said, we have real time. What Steve was saying, we can pull it up on the computers and watch the crimes actually taking place real time, and then be able to identify. We work very closely with our criminal investigation division to solve the crimes, and these guys, as I said, are outstanding, and they're going to be recognized by the police department next week. One thing, though, what Steve was talking about, the felony lane, we are getting some smashed windows. These are crimes of opportunity. Again, I'd like to ask the public's support and help out there to secure your valuables in your vehicles. Do not leave them in open sight where people can see them if you're going to a park or something like that. But I want to assure the public that these parks are absolutely safe. They're absolutely safe. We work very hard at this. Sure. This is a relatively low rate. When you say there were 38 crimes, that's low compared to many places. Absolutely. And a lot of it's juveniles, you know, and they're going to do stupid things. Those are crime-related incidents. Those aren't just those aren't our everyday incidents that we deal with that aren't really crime-related. But you know, there's other things that we handle in the parks. But of the crime-related incidents, we're on top of it. Do you get groups of kids, people hanging around drinking and maybe smoking marijuana, something like that? Not anymore. Yeah, you jump on that. You clean that up. Zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. That breeds other trouble. Right. So it's good to stop that or nip it early nip it in the bud very early. Well, like Sarge said, the most prevalent problem that we're having is again, it hasn't occurred for a while, but we've had an uptake of the car burglaries again. So like Sarge said, you know, we just asked the public to lock their stuff up prior to coming to the parks, because what will happen is people will be sitting in the parks watching where you take your pocketbook out, where if you put it in the trunk, or if you put it somewhere and stash it in the car, they're watching you do that. So we'd ask that if you're going to come to the park with stuff, just come with what you need. It's a dead giveaway. They see you get out, move it in the trunk, they know where to go. Right, they know you got a valuable person. And they know you're going to be in the park for a little while, so so they have time to do what they want to do, and it only takes a few seconds to get what they want. Right. It's always a cat and mouse game that continues on and on and on, but I think all in all, the cat is ahead, you guys. It's fun. And you got to keep it to a minimum out there, and that's great to know. And you know, this is the safest city
on the East Coast, and we work very hard at it, and it's by design, and this is part of the design, is to have parks officers out there arresting people that are committing crimes in the park.
And there are 3 assigned to the parks, but
Exactly.
but all the other patrol officers as well, and detectives, if they're around, they're available, they're going to respond as well.
That's what I was going to respond. That's what I was going to put in. That it's not only the parks officers.
Oh, yeah.
We have road patrol officers that are out there that are outstanding, that are helping us out. Cornering suspects, catching suspects. The detective division assisting us with anything that we need from the investigative portion of an investigation. It goes all the way down to the park staff. The park staff alerting us on stuff and calling us and letting us know what's going on in the parks.
And you've worked with them and trained them on what to look for.
They all know us. We're all one big happy family, and they're as detrimental to eliminating the crime as the police department is.
An important point. My last question: if somebody sees something they think is suspicious, they're not sure, what should they do at a park?
Just call the police.
Call the police.
Let us know what's going on. If you're in the park and you see the staff that's working there, bring it to the staff's attention. We have the park's radios. The staff will get right on the radio. They'll call us over their radio, and then we can also assign other officers to come to the area and quadrant off the area so that nobody escapes.
Or 911?
911 would be great.
Good thing to call too. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Officer Steve Camara, Sergeant Rod Dobler, appreciate you taking a few minutes to come in and talk about it. We'll let you get back out there and
Thank you very much.
get to work and keep it safe for another day.
Thank
We
you.
will.
Thanks for joining us. Good to have you.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back after this message.